All right. Good morning, good evening, good night. We're back. NFT Live is back. We did it one time in Denver. We had a bunch of shit going on, so we couldn't stream live all week. But we are back straight off the flights, man. Like we got in late last night and wanted to get you guys this episode. So we're gonna be covering the Web3 and NFT space over the past week. Gifted it's been such a short time that he hasn't even set up his camera yet. That's how much we're getting after it today. Gif, how you doing, man?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can. I got you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, a little bit different setup today. This is where you realize what you left behind. So it looks like the one thing that I left behind was my USB dongle that I need to plug in my DSLR.
Oh,
So only thing I missed or lost, I think, during the whole week though, was my USB hub. So we're here.
gotcha.
We're doing a different camera setup for today. Rocking the Chungos, the first ever Chungos swag. So shout out to the homies, to Chief Chungo and all the Chungos.
Yeah, we had Chungos on Tuesday night. We're gonna recap some of ETH Denver. So yeah, Gift just said it's a little bit different of an episode. We wanted to go live today. We've been gone for a full calendar week, pretty much, other than the stream that we did live from the mansion. So a little bit different. If you're used to us kind of getting up here talking for about 2 hours and going through a lot of the news, we'll still do that, but likely an abbreviated episode.
Survive 2 hours, honestly. Yeah.
No, seriously. There's pain behind my eyes right now, dude. Like, do you have
props to
by
you,
chance?
Q, for showing up for it. You're here, and that's what matters. You made it. You survived your first ever big multi-day event that you helped produce it. You
Yeah, I
produced your
appreciate
first
it, man.
big event. Yeah.
Look at that. Look at us. Look at us. Hey, I guess my computer like was manually on Denver time still. Like I didn't have it set to automatic. So I think what Hash Rhymes was just telling me is that this show was like scheduled on that frame. So it's scheduled to go live 2 hours from now. So I don't know if that's why, but definitely share out the episode here as well. Gift, do you have the settings on your video all the way up?
Let me check. Probably. This is probably just as good as it gets. Yeah, full high def. Yeah, it's just my webcam.
Love it, love it. All right.
It's not as good as my DSLR. I know that much. Yeah.
Definitely not, man. Definitely not. All right, so this is what we got shared. I'm pulling it up here. If you could share the episode out, of course, it would help us get all the homies in here and all the ladies in here that can discuss Web3 and what's happening. So a lot went down. 12-fold auction is happening right now, I believe, from the Bitcoin blockchain NFT project that Yuga Labs essentially was launching. I don't know much about it. Like I didn't like it. It basically happened over the course of ETH Denver, so maybe we can get into it. Obviously, we want to touch on some Doodle stuff. Moonbirds had a huge update. Ryan Carson quit the space as we were leaving for ETH Denver, so that was interesting as well. We can definitely get into it, but it does definitely feel like when you're coming back that you've been out of the space for like 25 years. Like if when we go to NFTGO Bag Check, you're looking at all the projects with good volume over the last 24 hours. None of it's the same. Literally none of it. So
None of it. Shout out Quantum Variant. We are back. Thanks. We're happy to see you here and missed you in Denver. But yeah, it's like, yeah, you go look at what's trending and what's popular and like, I don't know any of these all of a sudden. But apparently owls is a thing that we should talk about. And yeah, you already mentioned the ordinals Yuga situation, 12-fold. I don't know much about it, honestly. Again, a lot of this stuff was happening right at the very end of last week as we were like packing up and heading to Denver. So it's all it's all new news to us, right?
All right, so for those of you that didn't go to ETH Denver, this is how today's episode is going to work. You're going to tell us about the NFT and Web3 space and what we missed. Let me go through real quick, like some pictures from ETH Denver, right? So we've been, if you've been here for a while, we've been talking about the events that we were putting on, both at the Web3 Academy and the Web3 Lounge at the MJ Mansion. There, they went off like amazingly. There were so many cool people that came through. So let me try to go through some of these, and like you can go and kind of break these down as well. But yeah, no, the first one on Web3 that I see retweeted. Cake Nygaard, Brooke Lacey, and I'm missing. Is that Betty?
Probably, yeah. Shout out Betty from Deadfellas and the whole
Food
Deadfellas
Mascu.
fam. It was awesome getting to meet Betty finally, but also just the fact that I get to meet her at one of our events. How cool is that? You know what I mean? Like, how freaking
Yeah.
cool is it that Betty comes to our event? That's from actually the previous ETH Denver, but Creatious was just shouting us out because she couldn't make it to this one.
Tigbo.
Look at you, bro.
Look at Tig.
Look at you,
Tigbo,
Tig.
dude.
I
First
love that
time.
photo.
First time meeting Tigbo in person, man. It's awesome. Oh,
Here's some more legendary shit right here.
this
Cake
is
Nygaard
legend
and
shit.
Chief Chungo. This is straight up legendary shit right here. Amazing. There's
Jawa.
Betty. Yeah, there's Betty Jawa and Jeff getting
Jag.
photos with Betty. How dope is that? Manny Lynx doing his second live painting at our dude. Manny did 2 live paintings. This one he was doing at the MJ Mansion. And yeah, we got some cool so much stuff to like show from this. I'm sure we'll be sharing a lot more content.
Yeah, 100%. Prodigy, I see you. OVOT. There was a lot of OVOT vibes around this. That's how I would kind of summarize it. Like even Mo Runda, who is apparently not a brunette, showed up, and we obviously was like part of the whole event, animated. But Mo like got me into my flight. Like literally from Denver, there was a huge ass line back to my home, and she was like all the way through and was like, "Hey, just hop in line." And I would not have made my flight without her. So just OVOT vibes everywhere. We got Quasar.
That's a beautiful thing. See, I didn't know that that's what you meant, that she like saved you. I thought she just like texted you and reminded you to get to the flight. She actually let you cut in line through. Yeah, because the Denver airport is a cluster F. Like it was the longest line I've ever seen. I thought I was gonna miss my flight. There's me and Jess reading from her book, Golden Throne, which I have now. I think thanks to you, Q. I think you're the one that actually picked this up. I think this was you.
Yeah, there you
But
go. I got
but
you.
yo, you got to scroll. There it is, Golden Throne. That's it. I got one. I got it, and it's
in
signed.
beautiful 480p.
And it's signed. Look at that.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So, but you got to go to that photo of you too. Oh, Sound Party was freaking lit.
Yeah,
Cases
Son
came
Sound.
out. Wait, go back to that one with me and Jess and go into the comments so we can see you. We got this badass. Look at this gangster ass photo right here. Look at this. Doing his best Joe Rogan.
Okay. Hold on. Venture Punk. So Jordan Lyle came through. This was during the Jordan Lyle interview, and he gave us that hat. Okay. So I wasn't all murdered out initially.
Bro, I'm so sad I didn't get one. I should have, and I forgot to ask for one. Both you and Ronan got badass Venture Punk hats. But dude, that photo looks gangster. And literally, that's you getting to hang out and talk with Jordan Lyle on our own stage and
Cake
talk
Nygaard
about
painting live.
Dude.
So we're just reliving the moments. This was Ronan the Collector and myself getting interviewed by Avagachi, who had a great time. They couldn't have been happier about how the event went at the Marijuana Mansion. And it was just sick, just good vibes all the way around. It was futuristic right there. Yeah, there's Jordan.
There
Jordan
it is.
and Ronan. All right.
Heck yeah.
All right.
Amazing.
So biggest takeaways. Let's get out of reminiscing here. Let me get some takeaways from ETH Denver, from like I guess your experience, but then overall kind of the conference in general. Do you have any takes?
Honestly, I don't know that I have any really good cohesive takes because I'm still very tired and I'm still digesting a lot. You know what I mean? So there's just too many. Like right now, I feel like I'm just overwhelmed by it. Like one of them is though, like I was saying, is like we have to just say how grateful we are, and like I have to express a tremendous amount of thanks to everybody that helped make this happen, because it's absolutely insane how this stuff that we keep doing gets a little bit bigger each time, and the amount of people that show up to make it happen in really big ways. The people on the ground in Denver, Phil, Jeff, Animate Dead, Denver Donkey, Ashley, like all these people that were there. April from the MJ Mansion, the madam of the mansion, like, dude, she was so dope to us, like such a good person. Literally could not have done it without her and her whole staff. The Ant Life Gallery people, Jacob, who runs that place, they were all just so amazing. And that's not even getting into all of the like awesome community members, the artists that like just came to participate. Jess flew all the way from Brooklyn just to be part of, you know what I mean? It's like Mo came out, for like all these people that just came out to just be part of it. Food Masku even showed up. You know what I mean? It's just like so many people that just showed up. And so I have to at least while I collect my thoughts over the coming days and try and take away like key parts of like what are the biggest takeaways, I just have to, express how grateful I am and blown away by all of that.
Yeah, the community came through really, really heavily, and a lot of the creators that are here and building were there like from this time we started all the way to the last day on Saturday, and it was really dope. Yeah, big shout out to everybody. Big shout out to Avagachi, NFT Go,
Nifty
Chungos, like
Kid,
everybody, Nifty Kid.
Chungos, all the people that were part of Sound, all the people that were like, partners and communities that like really added a ton of value. The Women in Web3, Shira Lazard, Gigi, Swan Sit, they threw an amazing event with us on the last day. They brought out, that's why Betty was there, right? They brought out an amazing crew of people. There's just so many like that. And very excited to partner with a lot of them again. I think Avagachi, you already mentioned, they came out in a big way. I love that. Yeah. Phil times a million.
Yeah,
Shout out Phil.
literally times a million.
Yeah.
I have the cycles conversation a lot with people, like timelines, where we think the space is, and like a lot of people were talking about like how the vibes were at this conference, and there wasn't that really much happening in the last bear market, right? There were conferences, but they weren't popping off like what you see with all the communities kind of still having things going on, and just really like we are in the middle of a bear market, and to have this type of conference, to have these type of vibes be happening, that kind of shows the difference in how far we've come from an adoption standpoint, how far we come as an industry. Because last bear market, dude, I'm telling you, there was, and there weren't things happening.
Wasn't happening. Yeah. And I've seen, honestly, it's a great point, and it's one of the things that has kept me feeling very optimistic through this bear market is the amount of building and development that's still happening, right? And like I went to Consensus, which was another great event and a conference that I like, because again, it's more organized, it's a little bit more directed and focused than like the New Yorks and things like that. But that was when the bear market was hitting pretty hard too. A lot of things were down and crashing, and a lot of negativity in the space. But you go there and you see just a tremendous amount of building, so much development happening, and you realize like, oh yeah, it's not just the finances or the art or the NFTs or this. This is a new technology. This is like a whole new era of utility and interaction for the internet, and a whole new, set of use cases, a whole new set of things and abilities that we haven't had before, that are all just becoming extant, that are all just being developed, and people are creating these new models. It's like you start to understand again, like it's not just all this superficial ups and downs and like the headlines. It's like, oh yeah, there's this real shit underlying and driving all of this, and that's the tech, and that's what people are actually focused on if they're still building.
And specifically NFT technology, because ETH Denver is this kind of combination of builders in the like broader sense, where they're maybe not even in the NFT space, right? They're like talking about protocols, talking about different DeFi products. Like ETH Denver is a very developer heavy conference, and yet the presence of NFTs was definitely more felt than last year, I'm assuming. But the idea, like having the culture aspect of this be involved with it, is directly coming from NFTs, in my opinion. Like there was culture on the different protocols. ETH, of course, has its own kind of vibes, but like even a couple of the people hopped up on stage in the GM Web3 morning show this morning and were like, yeah, it definitely felt more art focused this year, or like there was more of that culture built in, and that comes directly from NFTs. It doesn't come from building a layer one and I need funding for this like next DeFi app and all this stuff. It comes from NFTs, and that was sick. Kane Mayfield's in chat saying, did you get to show? Did you get to snow in your man bun? Oh no, I don't think Giff hit the slopes.
Oh, I did get a little bit of snow in my man bun, but don't worry, I just shook it off real quick. Thank you for asking the important questions, Kane. It was great just to meet some Kane fans out there. We had literally people trying to like blow up his phone at 4 a.m, and a lot of love for Kane out there in Denver too. Would have been awesome to have you there. We'll definitely see you at the next one. And shout out Quasar also, who's in the chat.
Absolutely.
Who was big part of making it happen, came through. We had several different music acts across the week, and Quasar was a big part of bringing the vibes. So yeah, Why is my cam so fuzzy? It's just I'm using my webcam today, fam. Sorry, I'm missing a piece that I left in Denver, so I can't get my DSLR working.
So speaking of music acts,
no.
probably
Oh,
the
no.
most viral things that happens every conference are these like cringe, crypto focused like theme, like cinematic acts. I guess I don't even know how to explain them, but we have one of our good friends, man, like Gabriel Haynes. I call him a friend, but we show him on the channel all the time. So really just a guy that we've highlighted a lot. He got a lot of shit for this. And we're gonna watch a little bit of it.
One of them asks, what do I do? What do I say? What do I do?
Yeah, rightfully so.
I run around with a machete. Big machete. The neighbors call the cops on me. Cops after me. Searching for liquidity. Gotta exit now, but anyway.
Yeah, that's how the rest of it went. We don't need to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, it's so painful. It is like the most cringe thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. I think that's what they were going for, though. Like, I want to give Gabe the benefit of the doubt here, but like there were now multiple. I think there was another group that was like singing about fuck SBF and Suju and a bunch of the other guys. Like, there were that came away as like the most viral shit.
Yeah, this is though. It's interesting to look at this as like part of the culture and the meta though, because like whenever you do these conferences and these get-togethers, there's always these acts that are like riffing on the culture, riffing on the state of the market or what's going on, any trends that are happening. Like again, at VCon, they had that girl, the singer, who was doing Crypto Boy, and that song was popping off. It's all about crypto bros, right? It's a fun song. And so it's like you do always, I feel like, have this element of these conferences where they think it's fun to do the sort of self-referential content, the takedowns, not take ourselves too seriously. And so you simultaneously appreciate that for what it is, which is like, oh, this is just part of our culture. It's that like it, but I think the challenging part of it is how cringy some of it is, especially to those outside, because this often is the stuff that gets shared outside of our immediate bubble. Yeah. And then it becomes these big red flags for everybody else who's like, maybe if you're crypto curious and then you see this, you're selling. You're like, I'm out. I'm not, you know what I mean? It's like, you're not buying that. And that's I think yeah. Okay. Oh, this is the response. Yeah. Here we go.
You think I give a fuck if you think I'm cringe? You think I give a fuck if you're gonna sell your goddamn crypto because I sing a song? Well, fuck you! I was born in the cringe. I will die in a motherfucking cringe, bitch! You are nothing to me! I'm a Chad! I am the ballsiest man alive to go on stage and sing a fucking Disney song with my goddamn wife!
I mean, how do you argue with that? How do you argue with that? Where are you at, Anon? Yeah, I still love him for what he is. I don't know that he's a live singer. Like, you know what I mean? I think I give him props for, again, being ballsy, going out there and participating in the middle of a bear market and doing what he does, which is create cringy commentary, I guess,
Yeah, I can get after that. I can do that.
Yeah.
Nifty Q is broadcasting from the future with the kind of hair you only see in shampoo commercials. Kane, I appreciate the love you're giving to both of our hair. Kane is saying, I don't recognize GIF in standard definition. He looks like he's on a TV show in the 90s. Yeah, you kind of do look like a sportscaster in the 90s, like on the roll-in. Quantum Variant saying, lols, good to see everybody. Hey, we're just getting back into the swing of things after Denver. So we're having an abbreviated episode today. We're going to touch on some of the news. Let us know what was happening in the space while we were fucking partying up at the mansion, but also doing business. We had a lot of good meetings, informal, if you will. We didn't have to like set up prior, but we were meeting with some good folks, and we'll be having some follow-up calls this week.
Yeah. Absolutely. So much good stuff happened. But yeah, I feel like we got to do the NFT bag check and talk about
Let's
news though, because otherwise we're just gonna devolve into like Denver this, Denver that, and I feel like
You
we
already
got a
did
lot
that
to
already?
talk about. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
did that for the last couple of hours, and I know we'll be talking about Denver and showing off a lot of cool content and things over
For sure.
the coming days and weeks. But I feel like behind Q. I feel like
I feel extremely behind. That's why I keep putting a disclaimer of this is an abbreviated episode, Jacob. So just get ready for that. It really will be. Prodigy saying, and because of that, I hate it here when we were showing the videos earlier.
Yeah.
Yo, give us another disclaimer, and then we will get started with the NFTGO Bag Check. Man, I can't do that.
Oh, you want the full disclaimer? All right, here we go.
Or the short one.
Here, Here we go, fam. This is it. This is important. This is not financial advice, and information was found publicly on the internet. Opinions shared on this episode are solely of the Web3 team, and all information is public domain. Please DYOR or do your own research, fam. We are not responsible for your bags. We're just talking about shit we like.
All right, with that, we will get started here. Please leave a like, sub. If you're here for the first time, we're covering the NFT and Web3 space every fucking day at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have ourselves a good time here. Market overview here, the NFTGO Bag Check. We are sitting at 36 on the meter, which is kind of where we were left off with when we took off to Denver. Traders kind of obviously like about the same amount of buyers and sellers. People still in massive losses. This is a bear market, folks. So we got most people in 30-day loss time frame. Blue chip index is a little bit up over the last 7 days against ETH. Let's see where we're at against USD. So pretty heavily down on the USD side. We got market cap and volume. We're kind of crabbing out a little bit against ETH. Let's see where we're at in USD. So yeah, USD volume not looking strong over the last 3 or 4 days. I wonder if all the degens were just in Denver. Do you think that could have caused it?
Probably.
That was the fakest laugh I have ever heard.
No, sorry. I was over here looking for this ERC 4337 info because there's like some interesting stuff there that Quantum's talking about. But yeah, no, I think the market definitely reacts interestingly around major conferences because behaviors shift during those times. So yeah, could have an impact.
Okay, real quick, top collections over the last 7 days. Mutants taking the top spot. Moonbirds, volume-wise. I talked to some Moonbirds this weekend that actually just sold into this announcement about, having an art focus and maybe moving away more from the PFP side, more from like the more, I guess, like standard way that PFPs are going about their business. But Doodles, Bored Apes, Azuki, looks like Kennel Club, Other Deeds, Clonex, and Owls. Over the last 24 hours, Owls are taking up the majority of the market here, 8.8%. Wrapped CryptoPunks, MG Land. Yeah, so I'm just an old man at this point. I have no idea what a lot of these projects are. And then let's go to the filter. Yep, Blur and OpenSea. Still fighting it. I don't know what's CryptoPunks here. Trading sizes. So just that, I didn't realize collections could hop up on the marketing or the marketplace
Well,
side.
they have their own marketplace.
There we go. And OpenSea and Blur are fighting on the trader and buyer side as well. And that's the NFTGO Bag Check, folks. That's what we missed in this time. So Owls, I have no idea about. We definitely got some of the
Owls,
same standard projects, but
all I know about Owls, because I haven't had enough time to really look into it, is that it was a free mint that popped off and has like over 9,000 ETH on secondary traded already. Floors around like 0.34 or something. But yeah, I'm watching it. It's like an interesting like ASCII character, ASCII art. I think it's pretty interesting. I definitely am gonna look into it more. But if y'all in the chat are fucking with the Owls, if you know more about it, let us know in the chat. And yeah, something to be paying attention to.
okay, so we are going to get into the remainder of the hot topics today. I did see an open edition as well called Crowd that popped off. So I'd like to potentially follow up with that tomorrow. But the first main topic I want to get to today popped off as we were getting ready to leave for Denver. Okay, so we're like headed out there. We're making our plans. And over the weekend, Ryan Carson gets up on stage and says he's leaving the Web3 space. So hot topic, obviously, the Daily Dose. He's been, a major collector in the NFT space, Web3 space. He's just been, all over, popping off. His spaces get, 2,000, 3,000 people viewing it over the course of an episode. And he said, I just can't do it anymore. I don't have enough funding. I don't have enough support. And I'm leaving the space. So, GIF, run with it. I'll pull up some tweets, and then I will give my take. So I want to hear y'all's take at home as well.
I feel like I need to wait till I have proper video and connection before I really get into my hot takes on all this. But I'm still kind of digesting this as well and learning about it and kind of digging into the details. Oh,
you're getting it.
I kind of hate talking about it. I'm gonna be honest. I was never a fan. I didn't get into Daily Dose. I was never I didn't have anything against him. I just always kind of felt like there was something a little bit off. Maybe my own my own filters just felt like there was something inauthentic or something. So I never got into Ryan Carson. I never got into Daily Dose. And when you see this, it kind of makes me feel like I was right, that there was something off, because my general take is that you can't be serious about being in this place, being on the internet, being a public figure, especially in Web3 and crypto, and trying to actually build and do good things and be real about anything, without also understanding that sometimes it's not rainbows and sunshine and unicorn farts. There's bad sides about this too. There's ups and there's downs. You got to take the dark with the light. And if you're coming from an intentional, authentic, real place, then when you get some of that, or you finally see some of that downside, it shouldn't dissuade you from being continuing to build what you're building, because you believe in what you're doing. And I think Mo had an interesting point. I'm not advocating for toxicity. I'm not saying it's cool if people are talking shit or being assholes to him on the internet. We're never here for toxicity. We actively curate our own community to be good vibes and try and steer away from any toxic behavior. So I'm not saying, hey, it's okay if people are acting like assholes and all of that shit. But if you fuck up or you do something that the community doesn't like, and then all of a sudden, it's not 100% toxic positivity, and you get some toxic negativity, that should not be a reason for you to just pack up your bags and say, fuck it all. I don't know. That's just how I feel. I've been doing this from the ground up with no fucking help, experiencing the good and a lot of the bad for the last several years. But I'm not here for a pump and dump. I'm not here for a one-off. I'm not here for a grift. So I guess that's where I come from.
The part that threw off a lot of people too is that he said he didn't have any more funding. Essentially, he was like, we just either the environment's wrong or that kind of fell through. We can't continue this, which essentially is the Twitter space. So let's talk about the amount of, you need some hardware, obviously, if you want to do it super well.
What kind of funding do we get for our Twitter spaces, Cube?
That's what Marty was saying. I didn't realize Gifted was paying out of pocket for his Twitter spaces. Well, I also pulled up a tweet there on stream.
I am.
I pulled up a tweet. Well, not really. We're not paying out of pocket to host a Twitter space.
It's my time, my energy, all of my resources, my internet. I am, but also that's my investment.
But here's the thing: he's over here, and I'll pull it up once again. He literally has, and I understand all finances are going to be distributed across your personal. Maybe you have a certain fund over here, but he's over here acquiring fucking Bitcoin punks for 183 ETH, and then gets on a space and says he doesn't have any funding for what he's doing and can't go forward. And
this is why I think it's a sad joke, and my honest opinion is much harsher than what I'm going to say publicly, because I think it's to me, it's not just weak. It's not just. It's not good. To me, when I see this, it makes me believe that all of the hunches that I had that were kind of not trusting this guy are true, and that he's a grifter. Because again, if you're coming from an authentic place, then like you would not be so easily dissuaded, because the guy has plenty of resources. He has plenty of money. If he wants to keep going, he's got a ton of support in the community. So I don't buy it, man. I think it's pussy shit, bro. Like, that's how I feel.
Yeah. Gip, I don't know if you're getting any of the comments, but I'm getting a call real quick. I need to make sure it's not anything important. Can you get some of these comments if possible? So Marty was basically saying you didn't miss anything really. Proof info was a bust. Yuga drop is a cash grab. Owls is cool if you got in, but we'll be dead in a week. That is all. So thanks for the update, I guess.
There it is. That's, you know what? Why do we need to do the show at this point? We're done. Marty gave us the recap and we appreciate it. You know what? And I also say we missed you, Marty. Yo, shout out Brooke Lacey. What's up, weirdos? I see you, Brooke. Brooke came through in a big way and many times over our week in ETH Denver. So much love to Brooke. Happy to see you here. I don't feel like we see you in our chat often. And pardon my bad video today. Still getting out of the Denver haze. Marty says cringe is an understatement. Unfollowed him. He was funny for a minute, not anymore. I think he's talking about the Gabe guy, not just Proof there. In my opinion, oh wait, this is Prodigy. In my opinion, people in today's world too fucking soft in general, and it's leaked over into Web3. I tend to agree as well. I think there's a bunch of softies, you know, trigger warning type people, and yeah, I kind of feel that vibe as well.
You have to understand. So to Prodigy's point, like, what did he do so bad? Why are we mad at him? We're not going to belabor the point. We got some other things to talk about, but the ability for someone to raise funds from the public in this space is unprecedented. It's one of the dopest things about the space is the ability to raise and align incentives between users, between investors. But essentially what you have is guys, like literally a money transfer from individuals like you, individuals like myself, into these people's pockets based on quote unquote promises, based on a lot of different things. And then when you have somebody to that stature that is hosting spaces, that has raised all this, you know, funding and has a successful project, say, you know, I'm out. I can't do this anymore. You have offboarding that happens. People are like, fuck this. I'm not staying in this space because this is what it's made up of. And so you have like a bad reputation. This is what gets out to the public. Again, there's probably stories about this guy, you know, moving on and doing what he's doing. So it's just, we're voicing our frustration at the kind of lack of conviction that should come in responsibility with having the highest conviction in the space. Is you're a fucking leader in the space.
Lack of integrity and conviction. Integrity is such a premium to me in the space, because as you see, the more and more times that these leaders, you know, these people that are put up on pedestals fail to actually show up for their community, fail to actually act in an integrous way, or do shady things, or act in shitty, you know, black hat sort of tactics, or just take money and run, like whatever it is, whatever the new grift is, the more that you see it, you start to value people that actually have integrity, that show up consistently, that aren't just grifting. Like, integrity to me is at such a fucking premium, and it's because of people like this that show up and take all of the accolades, all of the positive side, all of the money. They take all of the fucking like positive shit that they can. They extract so much value from the space, and then at the end of the day, they won't stick around to like make sure that they return it. You know what I mean? Yeah. They won't be there to actually give back over the long haul. There's no long-term value being generated from these people. And so anyway, Squashman has some really great comments though. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on what's his face now. But Squashman says he faded the owls because every person pumping it couldn't explain why they bought it. Just thought it was going up. And so, you know what? Maybe smart. Only time will tell. And then he says ERC 4337 talk would be awesome. And also it sounds like the info on Amazon is leaking, because apparently Amazon launching an NFT marketplace next month.
Hold on, the leak is happening.
Getting out. I don't know. Well, I don't know if it's a leak. Maybe they've have announced something now, but it sounds like the info is getting out there.
Yeah. I feel like I don't want to even comment because I'm going to say something stupid and it's going to be on a recorded YouTube. So yeah, cool. Great stuff happening. We're gonna touch on so Biggie's having a tough year. I would love to have Biggie Poppins on the show. One, to talk about the Daily Dose and Ryan Carson. He was a Daily Doser, and I'm sure that there's obviously another side to the argument that we're making, just viewing Ryan from the outside. Right? There are Daily Dosers who were extremely committed every fucking day to this guy and the message that he was purportedly making, like Biggie.
Like Biggie.
So I'd love to, maybe we'll have him on. I know he's, again, traveling the world, so we wish him the best, man. I wish he was in ETH Denver. That would have been dope. But he's also in the Proof community. And this news broke March 2nd. So basically, Proof came out. And I like this TLDR. I'll pull up some other links if possible, like the official announcement. But basically, this comes from Tyler D. He's saying, here's a TLDR from the Proof update. New art-focused North Star. No token. No high rise. Nesting's going to sunset after Diamond Nest and ends with Diamond exhibition event. Proof becomes Moonbirds Elders. Moonbirds becomes the Art Collectors PFP. Oddities will remain unchanged. Mythics unchanged. So basically, I mean, obviously the big news there is that they're kind of moving into a more art-centered approach. They're not going to potentially launch a Moonbirds token. I believe staking is being sunsetted. That's essentially what the nesting pieces are. So all of these kind of gamified pieces to a collection that PFPs are attacking, right? ApeCoin has utility there through Yuga saying, hey, we're launching a token. We're going to offer, staking. We're going to offer all these different pieces. Moonbirds is saying, essentially here, we are going to be art focused. We're not going to launch a game. We're going to remove our staking. All of these different pieces that other collections are kind of getting into. They're saying, no, art's going to be our North Star. We're pushing forward. And I'll see if I can get that actual announcement. But I thought the TLDR was good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good TLDR to just get you a high level picture of what's going on there. It's a lot. I do think the no token, no staking, etc., is very interesting because I feel like it's, again, it's like, where are we at in the market and like what's happening on the macro. There's not like you're rocking a Gutter Cat Gang sweater right now, right? It's like there's not a lot of collections that have the resources to brave into those waters, that territory of the SEC and like them cracking down and trying to figure out how this is going to be regulated, how it's going to be litigated properly. To me, that's the Moonbirds and Kevin Rose saying, fuck that. We don't want anything to do with that mess. Let them fight those battles. We're going to do our generative art thing and focus over there, which again, like if you're upset about it because you got into Moonbirds for the financial aspect and because of staking, then that sucks. You're probably upset about that. But for me as like a founder, like just getting to know that they have a clear vision and they're pivoting and they're honing in on like what their focus is going to be. I think that's a positive overall, and claiming a territory, getting really, really deep into the art collecting, the generative art, and like, focusing on something that I think that they can do well. I don't see that as necessarily a bad thing. Obviously you might miss some possible utility and upside from having a token and all that shit. And who knows, maybe they can do that at some point in the future. So it's both good and bad, but I think that at least them having a clear vision and a North Star, and I don't see that as a bad thing at all.
Yeah, Marty's saying the Proof update was so long. I did just show a quick clip and then I dropped the link in chat for you guys. So this is the update from Proof here. So we've got the team talking about this. I'm actually going to take a look at this when we get off live here and kind of just listen to about an hour and a half of these updates. But you can see there was a emphasis on focusing our vision and things like this. So yeah, again, this would have been a perfect time to have Biggie Poppins, who is a proofer, who again was a daily doser. I'm not sure what that piece is. The other.
Well, can anybody be a daily doser? Can anybody be a doser now?
Dude, the other aspect of this was that Zeneca was taking over. Like it was moving to,
I guess there
like
can
Zeneca
be
taking over
dosers.
as a host.
Zeneca dosers now, Z dosers.
Yeah, a little Z dose going on. So Marty's also asking if there was any weed in Denver. Do you want to?
None.
Can we get implicated for that? I don't think there were any.
Zero.
No, I'm also
No
going to drop
drugs.
this link essentially from the proof or Moonbirds tweet thread here. So you can kind of get into that as you will. Maybe we can have some takes tomorrow. It's saying High Rise in its current form was pretty, but it was at the cost but it was at cost of and a distraction to the art that we wanted to be the cornerstone of our experience. Proof strengths will come in our ability to focus all of our efforts and energy toward a unified vision. This is a very bear market approach, right? Like in a bull, you're kind of like throwing darts at a wall, taking a very shocking approach. We're launching
you
a
feel like
token.
you
These
can,
are all our
yeah.
roadmaps.
You feel like you can do anything in a bull market, right? And a bear market clearly sets limitations and a much more strict way. It's like all of a sudden you come back down to earth and you say, oof, what are we going to do with these resources that we have when the sky is not the limit all of a sudden? It brings you back to reality. What's a realistic roadmap and vision that we can deliver on? So again, I'm not mad at founders getting more realistic and more concrete. I just understand that kind of like the CCO thing, I feel like, because they launched in a bull market with these big ideas, that there's probably a lot of people that bought in initially that are feeling like this is not what I bought into. And that sucks if that's where you're at.
Yeah, potential bear market, bear market. Some airdrop stuff is here as well. Mythic eggs will randomly be airdropped with the capability to re-roll your traits. Oddities will receive stone eggs when they sacrifice their NFT to the odd god. So we're getting into a little complexity chasm stuff here, some lore stuff. Stone eggs cannot be re-rolled. Exact numbers of daily generated mythics, to be honest. So I guess eggs are being dropped here to the Moonbirds holders as well. So we will
randomly airdropped. Randomly,
mythic eggs will be randomly airdropped with the capability to reroll. Marty's saying Kevin has been disappointing.
All Moonbirds will get one, but they'll be just random. They'll be totally random.
Yeah,
You can
I
reroll.
believe that's
That's
case.
pretty cool. So that's something.
Yeah.
What's the comment?
Kevin has been just so disappointing, and I blame him for bringing in Carson and Tim Ferriss clowns. Whoa. Quantum Variant saying Zeneca took over and the show is pretty good. Ryan no longer part of Daily Dose. He passed on. So this happened like very quickly. That's another thing. Like the speed at which this was passed over is actually wild. There wasn't like a, hey, I'm continuing this for another month and we'll see what happens. It was literally like, okay, now Zeneca is doing Daily Dose. And that's the world we live in today. So Jack Sideway saying bear market is the time to really make your moves as a builder. Fair. Also for Web3 gaming, Pixel Vault released the Reboot Protocol white paper last week and will release details on their auto brawler this week. VGF would be cool to have on the show to break it down. Let's do it. Yeah, 100%. Love to have VGF on. Are you guys watching the daily proof updates from NFT statistics? That's the best thing about the proof these days. Mad respect for that, dude. I actually love NFT statistics. That's probably one of my favorite
follows
profiles to follow. Yeah.
Yeah. Where's that other comment? Yeah. Quantum Variant saying when price goes up, everyone thinks they're a genius. Facts. Old Marty's back. He says apparently the whole proof video is just people in live chat talking with Frank the Gods. It's pretty funny. Yeah, I think this is interesting. I feel like there's probably opportunities to get in. Like if you've been like someone like me, I've been watching the whole proof thing. I never really got into it. I wasn't that deep into it. And again, it like always kind of like there's parts that have felt a little bit weird to me. Like whenever something pops out, and gets the amount of traction that does, and so many people like riding the dicks of like certain people, I always get a little bit like, I have a lot of questions. And so I never really got into it. And Biggie has been teaching us more about it. I've been looking at the oddities, at the Moonbird oddities, as maybe that's a good time to get in. So I don't know, maybe there's some opportunities to get into this thing. The Moonbirds are still like a little bit over 6 ETH, so they're pretty expensive. I could see them still coming down a little bit. But I don't know, maybe the eggs, maybe the proof passes will drop. I don't know. Maybe there's some opportunities to get into a strong community of art collectors. And I hope that they do bring back the proof of conference at some point and try and do that, because I was actually excited about that. So I don't know. I'm excited to keep talking about it, seeing how it goes, and who knows, maybe I'll find my way to get to be part of it.
All right, Marty's saying I tapped your shoulder at the urinal in ETH Denver, but you didn't say hi. That was you? That was you? Oh, okay. All right. So we met Marty. No, I'm just kidding. Prodigy saying, so I mean, yeah, the loss is unfortunate, but to be honest, if he's like that as a person, let alone a leader, better off gone. Quantum Variant's asking, isn't something big happening to the Utes right now? Also, Quantum saying punks are the art collectors PFP. There you go. Sorry, I'm getting through all these comments.
Yeah, shout out both of y'all. They're just saying hi. I want to say hi to both of y'all. Again, apologies, my video sucks today. It's all right. I'll work on getting it back up.
This is my day to shine, apparently. Like,
yeah, I think it's you're shining. DSLR. You are shining. You look great today, Q. I have to say, you look great every day, Q. But I do think it. You know, I have to say it's one of the things that I've thought too. I think Jack's hideaway is saying something that I think a lot, which is like, oh, Moonbirds is the art collectors PFP. It's like, it's pixel art. That's like, it's okay. It's all right at best.
Well, no, like, but Grails,
but it's
like
it's the community, right? It's you would think though, if that was their initial vision, that maybe they would have gone a different direction with their PFP. I think it's kind of ironic and funny, but no, it's more about like, what is the community, who is in the community, and what are the things that they're doing. So I get that. That's probably why I didn't really make a point of it, but I do think it's kind of ironic that like, yeah, they've got kind of like just okay pixel art.
Yeah. This is one project we're following consistently. Something bad happened over the weekend with WAGME. We essentially fell into the relegation zone.
Relegation territory.
So I got the standings for the league that they're in. Essentially, the last two get relegated, which is like, if you're not a fan of like Premier League or like any of the European leagues, I don't think the MLS works this way, but essentially,
no, it doesn't.
bottom two get relegated, top get promoted to the next league with hopes to get to the Premier League, right? That's the idea. That's what WAGME sold, was like, hey, Web3, we're gonna raise a bunch of money, we're gonna be able to put that towards better players, cool jerseys, cool fucking jerseys that we still haven't received. But yeah,
I can't believe that the jerseys hasn't been sorted out. That's to me
the
almost as bad as the fact that they're maybe getting relegated, because it's like that was like one of the only direct promises to the collectors that like should have been a layup and like should have made things a little bit happier and feel a little bit better at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's my take on WAGME is like, when things are going well, it's like rocket fuel that is like for what they're doing. And let me break that down real quick, because I don't feel like I termed that correctly. It's like, if things are going well, if they're playing really well, they get the jerseys out, you essentially like have a lot of really cool stuff happening for you. You have the team, which can like produce all this marketing, and like everything's going well, like stuff that most Web3 native companies can't do, right? Is get into the real world essentially. When it's going poorly, you have a fan base of a 150-year-old team that is trying to get you out, and you have stupid degens motherfuckers in your Discord that are like, win floor price, like what can the devs do something?
Win jersey.
Like, you're essentially getting wrecked on both sides when you have this situation.
Yeah, and you were making a really funny and I think smart comment about this. That, like, just imagine how awful it is that like your team, like you live in Crawley Town, you've got this team that you die and bleed for, that's like a 150-year-old team that has some of the craziest, probably most dedicated hooligans of all time, and your team's about to get fucking relegated because of these new idiot owners that don't know what they're doing, and then you've got these jackasses just commenting like, why is the floor so low? It's just like, can you imagine
that is
the pain?
Scenario.
Dude, it is nightmare scenario. But also on the other side of the script, Sarah over here making a good point. Moonbirds holders are art connoisseurs. Yeah, so who knows about all the Moonbirds? Maybe some of the Moonbirds are, but we know definitely the Moonbird holders are art connoisseurs.
All right, we said it would be a short episode today, so we're going to get to the remaining topics. I agree with Sarah. Moonbirds holders are art connoisseurs. I can get behind that 100%. All right, we are getting to Doodles. So Doodles launched this map. What a cool updated map we got of pretty much the information we already knew was coming. We will get to some of the announcements here, but we got Doodle Bank, Planets, Space Doodles, the Studio, Doodles Records. I believe most of this information, like I said, was already common knowledge. They just put it into a handy dandy picture.
They need to get better at communicating. So I feel like they probably are aware that, like, again, they're facing a complexity chasm issue, and a lot of people are confused about like how to get you. I'm one of them. I'm now a doodle holder, and I already feel like I fucked up and have missed tons of opportunities, and I don't get what's going on. So for them to find better ways to communicate their roadmap and shit that's going on, I am good with that, and I'm excited to like dig into this more because I haven't seen it.
Is there like a math equation that can tell you, like, from the time the bear market hits, which was like December of 2022? Was it 2022 or 2021? I think it's December 2022 was the high on Bitcoin last to now, because we're getting all of these projects that essentially, no, December 2021, I'm sorry. All of these projects are now essentially like, oh, we have to redefine our vision. Like, is it like, it feels like right now a lot of projects are like, okay, it's been a year.
A little past the floor of the bear.
Yeah. I feel like
about a year into the bear market is where you start to really feel the pain, I guess.
Topic for tomorrow. Everyone watch whatever podcast episode 59 on YouTube, and we discuss tomorrow. Prodigy saying win Toys R Us yacht ride. Yeah, let's Jeffrey needs to be questioned on whether this yacht club ride is still happening.
I mean, hey, if it doesn't happen, then that's another call that I got right. Let's just say that one now. Squashman saying, this is a quote apparently, after the devastating earthquake in Turkey and Syria, we're facing delays on the shipment of some WAGMI United products.
Yeah, that's
some
or
all. You will be the first to know when shipments can recommence. So I guess they are making and shipping from their building in Turkey and Syria, their products, I guess. I don't know. Like it's been a
doodle fud.
It's been a long time though, like since the mint. I feel like waiting until a year later and then there's an earthquake and using that as an excuse is kind of shitty. But like, hey, if that's really what's slowing them down, then okay. Good to know. Thank you for sharing that, Squashman. For the doodle they did. What?
I will not.
Marty, I was on your side for most of this episode, but you had to go there. Come on.
I'm holding two doodles as well. I like what they're doing. I like a project moving to another chain. I know that sounds shitty, but I like the mindset that you need to have to actually pull that off instead of like saying, hey, we're going to be comfortable here, but also the opportunities that these new chains are all targeting, right? Flow maybe targeting more Instagram focused model, more like mass adoption based models, like whatever. Doodles will expand its brand that way. Pharrell's involved, hopefully, a little bit more than he has been. So I can get behind the doodles.
Did you see that video? Come on, bro. It was sick. It's such a cool video.
12-fold leaderboard right now. 3.3 top bid on these auctions. So these are the 3.3 Bitcoin, bids. 3.3 BTC.
Wow.
So mechanics of this auction, I know there were a certain amount that were being auctioned off.
So that's like what, $80,000 or something?
Yeah, in total, 200.
It's like 100K, probably close to 100K.
288 inscriptions will be auctioned. 12 inscriptions will be reserved for contributors, future donations, philanthropic efforts. The highest 288 successful winning bids will have a 12-fold inscription sent to the receiving address after the conclusion of the auction. If your bid is one of the top 288 successful bids, your bid amount is the price you paid for the 12-fold piece. So why are we bidding? Is it just for the meme factor here, like that you're bidding 1.3 over the next price? Like, are you? I guess you're getting the first mint, like highest price is getting the number one inscription.
I have no idea. Collection? That's a very good question, right? Because Why? Yeah, why? Like, what do you get extra for paying that much? Like, it seems like what they should have been doing is like a reverse Dutch auction or one of those Dutch auctions. But obviously, this is Bitcoin territory where it's all OTC and like there's no even infrastructure to run an auction really, other than like what they're just cobbling together on the fly here. So I don't know. If I was, I like, look, there's Bitcoin like millionaires and billionaires out there that just have money that want to just make sure they get one, and good for them. I can't imagine overpaying that much for something like this, but also there's a chance that these could be worth a lot. It's the first Yuga asset on Bitcoin. I don't know, Q. What's your prediction? Where do you think it goes after these are inscribed and sent?
We did get some comments here. Quantum's asking what price do you think we'll end at? There's a split combo or answer there, right? Like, what is the top price going to be? God knows what. What is the average price going to be? Overall, that one might be a little bit easier to answer. When does the auction end? Is it a 24-hour auction? Let me make. I got this.
So the auction. So they're gonna return. So they're gonna return the Bitcoin. So it is like a Dutch auction. They're just doing it in like their own weird way.
So the auction will begin at 3 p.m. Oh, okay. So wait, explain that to me. What's going on, Gif?
Well, it sounds like they're sending back. So you send the BTC from your auction, and then it sounds like they will return the difference. That's what I'm getting from it. So again, somebody clarify that. But it sounds like whatever the lowest bid for one of the 288 is, I assume that's like the floor or whatever. And so you send in your Bitcoin, and then Yuga will return the difference. Say yes or no in the chat, like if that's true. But that's what it sounds like to me. So then everybody would pay the same at that point. But you would have to first send in your auction, so you'd have to still have that liquidity to claim.
The auction will begin at 3 p.m. Pacific on March 5th, which is today's the 6th, obviously, and will conclude approximately 24 hours later on the block immediately before 3 p.m. Pacific Standard on the 6th. So that you guys are 3 hours behind us, Gif? 3 or 4?
Yep. 3 hours, bro. You don't know
so
how
6 p.m.
the time zones work in the U.S.
Dude, my mind is a complete mush at this
Scrambled.
point. So
all right, that's fair. Yo, give
6 p.m.
Q
Eastern.
a break.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so 6 p.m. Eastern tonight. So in about 4 hours, we should get the final bids. We might get some answers here in chat as well as like what the mechanic looks like with how you're getting paid back.
Marty's confirming what I said, and that's that they're holding the BTC. You have to send in your bid for it to be successful. They'll escrow it and then send back the difference, apparently. So okay, at least it's more even, because otherwise, to your point, Q, it wouldn't really make sense. But you're just making sure at that point you're bidding that high just to make sure that you're in it, because you've got that liquidity to ensure that you get one of the 288 places. But you're going to end up paying whatever the lowest person paid.
Okay. No, I don't. I'm looking at the FAQ. The inscriptions will be sent following the leaderboard order, meaning the number one winning bid will receive 12-fold 1 through 300. The second
that doesn't mean that they're paying
2 out of 300.
Well, that doesn't mean they're paying. Okay, so maybe they are paying that much and they're not getting the return. Okay. All right, we're figuring it out. Thanks for your patience while we talk through this. That's pretty interesting, man. Then you're paying a shit ton for an inscription. And again, where do you think it's going to go, Q? I want us to hit Mocaverse and then wrap this up in here in a couple minutes. But where do you think it's going to go?
Yeah, like what's the average price of like not the number one bid? I think is the better question. We got 4 hours and it's sitting at. Let me make sure I got that.
I'm thinking more like what's it going to do after the inscription?
What's Bitcoin at right now? 20K?
Good question.
So it's sitting at 22K. So that's kind of the average that we're seeing across the board. If you go down all the way to like 200 or 300, the average is probably more like in the 6 range, 0.6. So I think you probably get like top bid, God knows what, maybe 20, 25 BTC. Maybe there's like some crazy ass bids for the number one spot in the last 3 hours. maybe 35 to 40K. I know I'm kind of like, I'm just throwing out like any answer I can, like where I think it is, but 35 to 40K might make sense for this. It's 288 supply, so extremely low supply. You're thinking about Yuga assets, right? Like what is a mutant go for? Mutants like sitting in that 20K range. if
These
they're a
are
little bit
totally
lower at this
separate
point.
from the ape ecosystem, though, which is I think honestly,
But people are viewing it like Yuga.
yeah, but there's
It's
no
Yuga
utility
shit.
attached to Bored Apes. Like they've been very clear about that from what I've heard, right? And so yes, it's Yuga shit, but like you can't bank on there being additional utility necessarily. So I don't know.
No.
It's going to be interesting because this is the first time that we've seen Yuga launch something outside of Bored Apes. Like they've bought and own other projects, but I don't know if they've launched something totally separate from Bored Apes like this. So I think it's going to be really interesting.
Squashman saying, I think every drop Yuga does from here on out is going to be labeled a cash grab. They can no longer make any more money. That's a crazy take. Like if you want to look at bearish takes for and probably a take looking back with 2020 vision after the other side drop, where we were just at all-time highs across the board. I'm talking ApeCoin. I'm talking Bored Apes were at some of their highest floor. That should have been an indicator. It's like, holy shit, they've dropped so much shit. Can they continue to drop that much value through like different collections? This is an aspect of that by doing 288, but they're not dropping this to anyone. It's just an open collection. But Marty is asking, and we have to get on and out of here in the next 5 minutes. But do you guys think this Yuga drop is a cash grab? I think that's a fair question too. So give me your floor take on like what you think an average price for these Bitcoin NFTs. But go ahead.
I don't think it's a cash grab as much as I think it's them trying to innovate and stay on top of like the meta. You know what I mean? Like their business is being builders in Web3, and saying that like everything that they do is a cash grab doesn't make sense to me. It's kind of like what I have to look at is the quality, the intention, and like how it's being rolled out and presented and all that shit. The only thing that feel like a cash grab to me is when there's a lack of quality. It feels like it's like totally rushed. There's not a lot of intention. They're not trying to create something like interesting or unique. It's like when I feel like this is just a derivative piece of crap that's being spun up really quickly to just hype and FOMO people into something cool. I don't think that's what they're doing here. I think they're saying, hey, we're Yuga Labs. There's this whole new thing that's opening up that's really interesting called Bitcoin Ordinals. We should have something there. Let's try and create something, soon that's actually valuable and interesting to us, that's different from anything that we've done. So we get some early Yuga inscriptions and do something totally different. This feels more like venture punks creating a new concept than a cash grab. But also like any single business that launches a new product, like some of them are going to be better than others. Some of them are going to be totally shitty. But like just looking at anybody who launches a new NFT or a new product as a cash grab doesn't make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like their business is to launch products as NFTs. That is their business. They're going to be doing it forever. Some of them are going to be better than others. But I don't see Yuga just doing things for cash. They don't need cash. Like you know what I mean? It's like, they're not in a position where they're just saying like, hey, we just need more cash real quick. Let's just fucking create a piece of crap. They are more concerned in my opinion, at building their brand and maintaining the brand value that Yuga Labs and Bored Apes has than just a quick cash grab. Why would they do it just a quick cash grab and like maybe hurt their brand?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just capitalizing right on like looking at, oh, this stuff's happening on the Bitcoin blockchain. Let's try it out. Yeah, I don't think it's like some nefarious, like let's try to drain more liquidity from the community and offer nothing. They're just kind of trying this out. So 1 ETH floor, probably an average of like 0.7, 0.6 right now. If you go like through the entire 288, what that gets to, I think, quantum variant, I think that's probably a good BT2 PTC is kind of my guess when I was talking about 30 to 40K. I could see it getting there.
Yeah, I could see that. So, I mean, again, people are not going to want to floor these. If you're spending a Bitcoin on a low supply first Bitcoin, Yuga asset, the floor is going to be pretty high. We'll see what kind of volume it gets, but I agree. I'll be surprised if people are going to floor them for less than 1 BTC.
Okay, Mocaverse, but lightning question gift. Do you like the actual art itself?
Can we see more of it? Like,
I was trying to
initially,
figure that out.
so initially when I see it, I think it's cool. I think it's interesting. I'm not blown away in like a way that I'm like, oh God, I have to have it. Like, oh, it's so
That's
fucking
fair.
like, like, you know what I mean? But you know, I see some like Damien Hirst's inspiration. I see some generative art inspiration. I see the 3D
I think
sort of
that's the
inspiration.
vibe. Yeah.
So I think it's cool that they're bringing together like some sort of well-known or like some different modes that are popular right now. So I think that that's interesting. And I do think that, you know, it's very colorful. You know, it has some dynamic aspects to it. So I think it's cool. I think it's interesting, but it's not something that grabs me and shakes me where I'm like, holy fuck, it's the best art I've ever seen.
Okay. All right. Real quick, we're gonna hit Mocaverse. The most interesting thing about the Mocaverse was how they were launching it. Right. It wasn't this like PFP or mint collection that was going to be like broadly distributed based on, you know, just the public having access all at once. You can see here. This is the way the allocation initially is going to be distributed. Animoca brand investors, Animoca brand subsidiary employees. So like the projects that are under that portfolio, essentially, those employees are going to have access to this. Animoca brands, portfolio companies, partners of Animoca brands, and community Mocha list members, which has been steadily probably growing just from them getting the word out about like the whitelist and stuff like that since the Mocaverse first got announced. These are the details that are happening now. So it is mint day. It is March 6th. This is happening. Mint price is going to be 0.138. Again, this feels more like them trying to create more value for people within their ecosystem, which is dope. Don't get me wrong. Like, do what you want. They don't, like, no one's beholden to launch a certain mint a certain way. It is a little bit innovative in that sense where they're like, hey, we're going to see what we can do to really create value for the people that are already here, as opposed to like, I'm going to try to reach out to everyone in Web3 and try to get them to buy my project. It's interesting, man.
I want to try and get into it. I'm going to be watching the secondary. I don't think I'm going to be eligible. As far as I know, I'm not on the allow list, unfortunately. But you know, from what I can tell, like Q, you actually know more about Animoca brands and, you know, what's part of the Mocaverse than I do. So, you know, if there's any other insights or like things that you're excited about that, I'd be interested to hear it. All I can really say or what I know is that Animoca brands has a lot that they're doing. They have funding. They've got people like Yacht, you know, that are part of it. And so I'm just interested in it because it feels like a robust ecosystem already. It does not feel like this is one of those things where it's like, hey, we're promising you some crazy roadmap that we're not going to be able to deliver on. It's kind of, to your point, interesting in that it is reverse engineering the sort of PFP community out of an existing ecosystem instead of starting with the PFP community and then trying to develop an ecosystem. That is why I'm interested in it and why I'm going to try and get into this and be watching the secondary to see what it does over the coming days.
Yeah, I'm going to show real quickly a list of some of the blockchain projects they have. So these are actually ones that they're like involved with on the day-to-day, right? In various forms. Like Animoca Brands is a huge company. It's a launch pad. It's a incubator. It's a venture investor. That's why, you know, there's so much value there from many, you know, there's value for many aspects. So Rev Motorsport, they're okay. An okay NFT Web3 game there. Sandbox, Phantom Galaxies we've talked about. There's some others that they're kind of getting involved in as well, but really tying all of those future projects along with the projects you see here is the value, I think, of Mocaverse, right? Because if you can hold a different a Mocaverse and maybe get access to a future Sandbox land event or a future Sandbox drop or something where they have this influence in these projects and, again, future projects because they're doing so much investing in projects that haven't launched yet. That's the value of Mocaverse. So yeah, really, Yacht is an OG from the mobile gaming side who came into this space really early. They've hit on some crazy investments like Paradigm Fund. I think we've talked about with Blur. So more in the DeFi side. Animoca is that in the NFT side. They were like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, venture investor in the NFT space in the last 4 or 5 years. With Mocaverse, you could potentially get, I don't want to call it a stock. This is nothing as an investment advice, but you get access to that ecosystem and everything they built.
Yeah. And to me, again, like, call it what you want to call it. To me, I just see it as the fucking buzzword utility. Like, it's like when you actually have real resources, real community, real assets, real, projects and all this shit there already, that just lends itself to being able to offer more utility. And again, it's like one of the things that most people are looking for in the space now is not just the promises of utility, but actual utility being there. And that's what I see. Again, who knows? But I see the potential, at least, to provide a lot more utility through the infrastructure they already have.
Yeah, the secondary market's going to be something to watch there. Again, a lot of that distribution went to their already existing partners and ecosystems. So we'll see if what that looks like. It's just like a whole. It's a little bit of a new paradigm because you're like, okay, are those partners incentivized to hold that, or are they just going to see it as like instant value of like, hey, we're part of the Animoca ecosystem.
Look,
I'm going to sell this on secondary.
I think that's part of the hope of it, is that for those people, some of them, if they want, they get a little bit of liquidity in their pocket. It's like they get rewarded for believing. That's part of the value here is that, look, if you've been a long-term believer, if you've been investing in this thing, if you're an early, investor in what we've been building, you might get a little bit of liquidity out of this. Who knows? Maybe a lot of liquidity, but I'm sure some of them are going to sell, of course. Why wouldn't you? If it pumps, like why not take a little bit of profit? And good for those people. Again, that's one of the biggest reasons why all of us are here is to hopefully capture more value from the things that we invest ourselves in. And yeah, on the like utility front, it's like kind of what you were talking about. Like to me, utility becomes value, right? It's just delivering more value through actual utility. So anyway, I'm going to be watching this one. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for running through it more, Q.
One thing, we're going to wrap up here in just a moment, folks. But another thing that Animoca has ties into is like the Chinese market, right? Like Yacht was from Hong Kong before he founded Animoca Brands, and he's been in that space. Like I think he even lives in Asia at this point. So the connections he's making, does that start to like cross over into Animoca Brands and the projects they work with that are either Japanese focused? That are Korea focused and all these different things that we've been talking about of having the Asian market explode. Can Animoca be part of that too? Because Yacht's on the front lines over there doing that. So yeah, excited for the Mocaverse. I wish I went a little bit harder in trying to get a spot there, but maybe we could pick it up on secondary. And yeah, Yacht's a G. We gotta have him on.
What's the most you'll buy in at? What's the most you'd spend on one of these?
You guys are hitting me with the hard questions on
when your brain's
Monday
scrambled.
returning. Yeah. I mean, what it was 0.13. I don't 0.4, 0.3.
Okay.
I guess
that's higher. That's higher than I was expecting. 0.4.
I don't know if I'm going to like. Yeah, I'm not getting into like 1 ETH territory because then you're just hoping for some ridiculousness. So okay, we guys NFT live. This was an abbreviated episode. Because we're coming back from Denver, if you can't tell behind me in Gift's eyes, there's nothing. There's just pain. But there was a lot of love in ETH Denver as well. So we had a great time. The
can't have one without the other, Ryan Carson. You can't have one without the other.
It's true. What was your favorite movie this year, Giff?
Favorite movie?
I'm daily dosing. He asked like random shit like that.
I wouldn't even know. Well, I'll say my favorite trilogy was the John Wick one. I watched all 3 in like a 24-hour period, and that was kind of fun.
Okay. All right.
John Wick 4. There's gonna be a 4th.
Yo, utility for potential NFT holders of Web3 in the future is going to be me and Gift Ed's first release single, Denver Sessions. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited to not give any back info to that, and that just be our inside joke for forever with Brooke Lacey there.
Look, yeah, we some things can't be shared entirely. Some things are meant to be kept between a small group, and that's okay. But just know that
Sure.
hip hop is in our soul.
True. All right. Okay. I don't want to say anything crazy. Anyways, we are getting up out of here. We'll be here tomorrow as well. GM Web 3 starts at 11 a.m. Eastern. We start NFT lives every day at 1 p.m. Eastern. We saw a lot of folks that we missed over the last week here. So Squashman, Prodigy, Quantum Variant, Quasar, Don't Fade the Chungos, Jack's Hideaway. Mike Erlinson said, welcome back. We see you, man. We appreciate you. Marty McFly, Sarah Script, Brooke Lacey. A lot of folks just feeling the love from every angle,
All of
man.
them.
Appreciate it. All right, Giff, send us out.
That's it. Yo, my mind is as fuzzy as my video feed right now, but filled with love for all the people that we saw in Denver, and more to come. Hopefully I'll have my video back up tomorrow. Our vibe, our
Hopefully.
trap.
You better have it.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to go find a Best Buy or something, but yep.
Chungo!
Chunga.